Welcome. This class is all about hip mobility. Now, I don't want you to confuse hip flexibility with mobility. So if you're expecting this is going to be some delicious passive stretching class, I'm sorry. It's not going to be. But the good news is mobility is actually way more important than flexibility, because mobility is the active range. So it's like flexibility you can actually use for something, and something of its form of flexibility that is really, really good to keep your body moving throughout your life. So come to a seat. Sit up nice and tall. Take a moment to find your breath. Start breathing through your nose. Allow your diaphragm to move down as you inhale, and that means releasing that lower belly and expanding all the way down below the belly button. And then blink your eyes open. And first I want you to come into a Baddha Konasana, so butterfly. Have some space between your heel and your crutch. And you can flap your wings a little, get a little bit of warmth into your hips. And then what I want you to do is, I want you to kind of open your feet like a book and have a little bit of space in between your feet, because you're doing both of them. And as you're doing this, can you press the outside of your ankles and your feet? You might even kind of be on the top of your feet here. Press that into the mat. So you get a little bit of activity here. So a little known fact is that neurologically, ankle flexibility is connected to hip mobility. So if we do a little bit of ankle work, we will actually increase our hip mobility. So that's basically what we're doing now. So keep pressing that outside of your ankles into the mat. And also maybe you can can you open the feet a little bit more? I know it looks kind of weird. And still keep that activity. And release. Cross your ankles. Come onto all four. And you can take a couple of cat-cows. Just waking up the body, getting ready to move. And of course, add whatever needs to be added here. So a little bit of side bending, and also sway the hips from side to side. Come to center. Lift your right knee out to the side like a dog peeing up against a fire hydrant. And circle your knee, big circle, and slow the movement down a little bit. So you really get into the deep, dark corners of your hip socket, but also when you slow the movement down, you're asking a little bit more from those muscles in your hip, that they have to work to keep that leg lifted. Change direction. Good, and then step that right leg out to the side. You're going to come onto the inside of your ankle here. So you're opening the bottom of your foot out to the side, and then press that into the mat. Yeah, it's a little bit weird. If this doesn't feel good on your knee, on the inside of your knee, back off a little. You can also notice that you'll engage the inside of your thigh. And release. Lift the left knee out to the side. Same thing. You're going to do some big, slow circles. Change direction. And again, step that leg out to the side, roll onto the inside of your ankle, press that actively into the mat. You feel a little bit of engagement coming all the way up here. And come back to center. Tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back. And take a couple of rolls, so rolling forward into your plank pose. Open up your chest. Roll back. And one more time, roll forward. And back. And walk it out. Find that first down dog. And then walk to the front of your mat. Come into a ragdoll forward fold. Roll. I'll come all the way up to standing. Reach your arms up, hands to your heart. All right, what we're going to do first, I want you to lift your right knee out in front, give it a little squeeze, stand up really tall, and then let go. Slowly lower the leg down. Lift it back up. Slowly lower down. Lift it back up. Slowly lower down. Two more. Lift. Slowly lower. Lift. Slowly lower. And again, this is also a little neurological trick. A lot of this is our brain makes these decisions as to whether we are tight or not. It has less to do with the muscles themselves. So what we're doing in this class today is we're using a lot of little neurological tricks for the brain to kind of conclude, oh, we're open. We actually have the space or the range to move our hips better. You're going to move over to the other side. And again, first grab the knee, stand really tall, squeeze the knee towards your chest. Let go. Slowly lower. And lift. Slowly lower. And lift. Slowly lower. Got two more. Lift. And lower. Lift. And lower. Good. Then I want you to lift your right knee out in front. See if you can straighten the leg. Notice, how does this feel? Oh, is it hard? And I want you to move that leg back, keep it hovering, and step it back just a couple of feet and roll onto the front of that right foot. Put a little bend in your other knee and then actively press the front of your foot into the mat. You're going to feel a little bit of engagement coming up the leg. Hold it, keep pressing. And release, lift that leg out in front and lift the leg. And you might already notice a difference. It might feel a little bit easier this time around. And set it back down. We're going to do the same on the other leg. Lift your left leg up. Straighten the leg. Notice, how does this feel? Take the leg back. Keep hovering it, stepping it back a couple of feet, roll over onto the front of the foot, put a little bit of bend in that right knee, and actively press the front of the foot into the mat. Get a little bit of activity going on. And lift back up. Do you notice the difference? Set it back down. All right, next thing, I'm going to do a little kind of hip controlled articular rotations. You've probably done this before with me. This is not about balance, so if you need to hold on to a wall, feel free to do that. You're going to lift the right knee out in front and then open to the side. And try and remain as still as you can in your hips. So no kind of leaning over, trying to stay as still with the rest of your body. Internal rotation, that's a weird one, outer hip. And then take the knee all the way back. And a little bit of engagement in your belly. This is not a back bend, even though you're moving that leg back. Then I want you to move the leg over. So you're kind of taking the right knee to the back of the left knee. Put some bend in that left knee and then start straightening that right leg. Dragon squat. Squeeze the inside of your thighs together, and then you're going to come out on the outside of that right ankle. Can you press that into the mat? And lift back up. Bend the knee. And again, you're going to circle all the way out. And then cross that right knee over the left. And again, squat down. Almost like a little eagle squat. And come to standing. I'm going to move over to the other side. Lift the left knee out. Open to the side. Internal rotation. Try and remain upright. Circle all the way back. A little bit of engagement in your belly. And then start crossing it behind. Straightening out that left leg. Bending the right. And you come onto the outside of that ankle. Actively press it into the ground. And come back up. Circle out to the side. And come into your little eagle squat. And come back to center. You can check it out. I want you to step the right foot out to the side, put a little bend in the left knee, and again, you're going to press the inside of the foot into the mat. Well, almost inside of the ankles. Again, this is a little awkward. I don't want any pain in that knee. If that's you, I want you to back off. So I know this goes against all alignment cues you've ever heard in a yoga class. You know what? Not everything is about alignment. So it has a purpose, but it doesn't make for a full, healthy body. So it's good to do stuff like this as well. Come back to center. Other side. A little bit of bend in that standing knee. Actively press the inside of that foot and ankle into the mat. And back to center. I want you to make your way down to seated. And we're going to come into a 90-90. You might also have done this with me before. Sit up nice and tall. Circle your torso. Change direction. And come to center. You can always support yourself with your hands in these next few exercises, but if you can do it without, you're going to do it without. And your aim is to sit as tall as you can. If you need to lean over, that's the way it is for now. Press into the inside of your back foot. Lift that back knee off the mat. And down. And lift. Down. Lift. And down. 2 more. Lift. Down. And lift. And down. Press into the inside of your back knee. Try and lift the lower leg up. Lift. And down. Lift. And down. Remember, if it's not actually lifting, that's okay. This is your work then. Don't try and lift it with your hands. That takes the whole purpose of it out. We have 3 more. 2. And 1. And let that marinate for a moment. You might feel a little bit of ickiness on the outside of your hip. It's normal. It can feel good to rub it out. And then the next one is we're going to lift this whole leg off the ground. Again, if you need to lean over and support yourself, all good. Lift. And down. Lift. And down. Lift. And down. Last one, we're going to lift. And then take the leg forward and back. Forward and back. Forward and back. Come over to the other side. Sit up nice and tall. Circle your torso. And change direction. Come to center. Lift your back knee. And down, lift, and down, lift, down, lift, and down. 2 more. Lift, down, lift, and down. Press the inside of that back knee into the mat. Try and lift the lower leg up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, take a moment to just let that marinate. That is a lot for the outer hip. If you're not used to this kind of work, we all need it though. And then try and lift the whole leg up. Lift and down. Lift and down. Lift and down. And then lift. Take the leg forward and back. Forward and back. And forward and back. And come to center. Shake it out. And I want you to come lying down. We're going to finish up with a nice little stretch. Especially that outer hip, that's the one that's not used to being worked so much. So I want you to cross your right ankle over your left thigh. And then take both of your legs over to the left. You're going to hold that figure 4, and that means your right foot is going to come flat down to the ground. Keep both of your shoulder blades melted into the mat, arms out to the side. If you want to go a little deeper, feel free to grab that right ankle with your left hand. And then relax. So although we want mobility and active range motion, it doesn't mean that we never do these passive stretches. They can feel really good and they can really help opening up your body. But it's always a good idea to combine it with some activity. Come back up and move over to the other side. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Both of the legs come over to the right. Maybe grab your left ankle and relax. And come back to center. Hug your knees to your chest with a good squeeze, and then come lying flat down. Find your Shavasana, and as always, stay here as long as you need. Thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.